You've waited all week. And here's the conclusion of our conversation with Chris Cacavas. Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a groovear.
Let's get groovy.
I need to let you know. So first of all, this is a pretty momentous episode, Jeff. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is our 50th episode, and this is Jeff and I's 1 year anniversary week. So, who better than you to be here for this moment?
The dead center of the scene. Yeah.
Yes.
That's sweet. And that's an honor. And man, congratulations to you both. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So way back in episode 39, I picked one of your songs to play. We were highlighting Paisley Underground band side projects, and we included, or I picked you as part of a Dream Syndicate side project, and I played Pale Blonde Hell.
Yes, great song.
I love that song.
Yes.
I love that song. But one of the things that I was really intrigued by was that you had Sonia Hunter and Victoria Williams singing backing vocals on that song. And also on the song "Loser" on the same album. How did they come to be involved, or because I can't believe that this is also a pity backing vocal. No, so wonderful vocalists of their own right, but how do they come to provide backing for those two songs?
That was probably more coincidence than anything else, because Sonia lived in San Francisco. I'm recording in LA. And with Victoria, she was in LA, Hollywood at the time. So usually, because again, even then, and even to this day, I'm not the most organized guy where I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta, call this person to do that, call that person to do this. It was probably more like we met at a party and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in the studio next week. Do you have time? We're wrapping this stuff up. I'd really like to get your voice on this one song. That's probably more likely how that went down. Or for instance, when Janet Napolitano sang on Good Times.
Oh, nice.
That's Janet Napolitano on there.
Wow.
Speaking of fantastic voices. And that's kind of how I remember that going down, just by coincidence. Whereas when Victoria Williams and Vicky Peters and Susan Cowsill sang on Anonymous, on Sullen.
Yes.
That was Steve Wynn lining that up to get the Psycho Sisters on there.
Wow.
And I remember when they were in there, and I knew exactly what I wanted to hear, on that part. And Susan Cowsill was like, "No, we got to sing it like that. We got to do this, And she wanted to add, like, I don't know, I forget exactly what she wanted to do, add another part or another harmony. And I was like, no, I need to hear exactly this. And she was not happy. She's like, you made a big mistake, boy.
Well, I love her. I love Susan Cowsill.
Yeah. Oh my God, what's not to love? Yeah.
So another connection that you had is with Pat Thomas. So Pat had Heyday Records, and I think he was involved in Normal, right, in the UK, perhaps, or had a connection with them. So how did you get involved with Pat? And I know he's a huge supporter of yours. How did you like working with him, and how did that all come about?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how that happened. I think I recorded a 4-track demo with Jack Watterson. And if I'm not mistaken, this is definitely a question for Pat because he'll definitely know exactly how it happened. So then he heard this demo, and then we ended up going into the studio, but I can't remember if I financed that or if he financed that. And then that was my first LP, the eponymous LP with Driving Misery and Truth and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't remember the details or the order, you know, that happened, that we ended up working together. But after we started working together, it was a great relationship, and I ended up driving up to San Francisco a lot with my band. We played up there quite a bit. Also, thanks to Pat Thomas helping me get gigs and stuff like that, playing at the I-Beam, playing at the Paradise Lounge, and a few other clubs that I can't recall at the moment. But it was cool, you know, and then we kind of, you know, started building up a little bit of a following up there and started meeting people and collaborating, or at least doing shows together with certain bands. Extal, even played a show with Buck Naked and the Bare Bottom Boys. You ever hear of them?
No. It's a great name, though.
Buck Naked and the Bare Bottom Boys. Who else? Oh, a band called Subtle Plague. They're pretty intense. They were kind of doing almost like a Rage Against the Machine kind of vibe.
Wow.
Like a big group of people on stage. And it was pretty intense, with kind of a really intense sort of a Marky Smith singer guy.
Oh, okay.
It was really cool. They were doing great music. They were that's a band you should look into, because they have quite an interesting family history from these two brothers, the Simmersbach brothers. They grew up their mother is a very famous something or other, photographer, maybe, artist. She's an artist. And they lived a very sort of hippie, traveling around the world lifestyle, and these brothers ended up starting the band A Subtle Plague. They're still out there doing music. I think one lives in Hawaii, and I don't know where the other one lives.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, San Francisco was great. Great relationship with Pat Thomas, and really always very supportive. Supporting me as a friend and an artist. And eventually, so he had Heyday Records. Eventually, he was looking for distribution in Europe, so he found Normal Records, Normal, in Bonn, Germany, which is near Cologne. And that's how that started. And then he ended up coming from San Francisco to live in Bonn. I forget how long he was there, to sort of run Heyday Europe or whatever he was doing there, you know, working with Normal together. And so then my first two records were on Heyday, that one, and then Good Times. And then I did Pale Blonde Hell, and that's when I signed directly to Normal Records.
Okay.
So that much I remember.
Nice.
I have a follow-up question, Chris.
Yeah.
Because after releasing 5 albums using Junkyard Love, using that name, you then switched to using just your name with the album Anonymous. And we were curious, is this because after the 95 release, New Improved Pain, John Thoman was no longer a part of the recordings, or what prompted that name change?
Well, so after the recording New Improved Pain, I felt, even when I was doing that recording, that I wanted to go in a direction, and I don't know what that direction was, but I felt like I couldn't go there. Well, I'll elaborate a little bit in a minute. I felt like I couldn't achieve what I wanted to do with that band. And part of the reason is that I felt like I had started to write songs for this band without, instead of just simply writing songs because I wanted to write the songs that I wanted to hear, and I didn't want to be writing for anybody. I didn't want to be writing for my perceived audience, and I don't want to write for the band either. So it was a little bit of a tumultuous breakup. They weren't happy about it. John was probably the most understanding. The drummer was definitely the least understanding. And I basically told him like that. I said, I feel like I want to do something else, and I'm sorry, but I feel like you're not the band I can do it with anymore. Not that I'm not, again, proud of everything we achieved, without a doubt, but somehow I felt like I had to shed a skin, like the cicada or something, and I'm glad I did, even that it wasn't easy for all of us at the time. I think the worst part about it is that it was difficult to salvage the friendships, after that, because especially the drummer took it very personally. John anyway moved on to other things and moved out of the city, so okay, that's clear that it's not going to be easy to maintain that friendship. But I think, and I've experienced it also in Green on Red when they broke up. That's the thing that you end up kind of missing the most, is this camaraderie and the friendships, that you took for granted that were there at the time. But yeah, that's why that happened. So at that point, they were Junkyard Love, and clearly I wasn't going to be playing with this band anymore. So I just dropped the name. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But there's a consistency in the sound, and it's your songwriting throughout all of these records, including the Junkyard Love and your solo stuff. So there's that consistency throughout. So that's interesting. I was wondering how that came about. So earlier we were talking about Sullen, the song that you have the Psycho Sisters singing on with Vicky Peterson and Susan Calsill.
It's hard to tell whose leg you're pulling, and now I'm sullen, less than hopeful. My brain is swollen. You said a mouthful, and I am sullen. I am sullen. I am sullen. I am sullen.
Going back to Steve's comment that you're the dead center of the Paisley underground scene, there's like all these connections. Did you have a relationship, a musical friendship with Vicky or the Bangles prior to this, playing around LA?
No, not really. We never did anything musically together. Just spent a lot of time in the scene together. But by the time they sang on Anonymous, I'd done a tour with Giant Sand.
Oh, okay.
And they were on that tour. So we got pretty close on that tour. We spent a lot of time together. Right. So that's, well, now I have to take it back. Yes, there was that musical collaboration where I was playing keys and the Psycho Sisters were singing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were fantastic. I mean, my God. I mean, you got two pretty intense and lovely personalities there. And they just sang so well together. They're just so much fun to hang out with, those two.
Their voices together too. It's so incredible. They're not they're not actual blood sisters, but sister-in-laws. But they just have voices like as if they're sisters. They just that connection. Yeah, it's a great sound. So.
I want to ask about another song from that album, from the Anonymous album, and it's "Disappear."
My favorite song. That's my favorite.
Okay.
So it's got Steve Wayne on guitar, and these lyrics in particular stand out to me, and I was just wondering about if there's the story behind the song. So after Steve's solo, you sing, "I've been relocated to a safer place. They gave me a new name and a different face. And if you look, I'm not around. Well, I'm here, but nowhere to be found. Only 6 feet underground. Well, I can't be found. I will not be found. I cannot be found. I am not around."
I will disappear if you want me to. I'll leave without a trace in the middle of the night. And if you look, I'm not around. Well, I'm here, but nowhere to be found. I'm only 6 feet underground, and I won't be found. Catch me if you can. I don't think you can. 'Cause now I'm in my car, and I'm shifting the sand.
This is an intense song. And I mean, but then again, it goes back to your songwriting. It's so strong, and it just, you take us through this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a song that doesn't just take me through this narrative in the most interesting way. Is there a story behind this song, or am I asking you to go way, way back in the archives?
Well, this one, I mean, the theme, I mean, it starts already with the title of the record, Anonymous. So I was obviously dealing with issues of anonymity, and feeling like I didn't belong, and, you make, you put all these good records out there, you do all these tours, and it was hard I still didn't feel relevant somehow. And I'm not sure why, because things were happening. But, ironically, I think where I feel the most irrelevant, or where I have felt the most irrelevant, is with my peers, which I know it's odd. I know. I'm sure that's probably mostly in my head. But somehow, I mean, of course, there are the peers that have given me props, so to say. But somehow I felt like an outsider, maybe I still do. I know that could come off as self-pity. I try not to go there. I still try to be just creative and do my thing. But I think there came a time where I felt like I'd given so much, and I wasn't seeing anything coming back. I mean, you're doing tours now, and now you're going out of pocket. You're spending so much money just to pull off a tour, and it was disheartening, and it hasn't gotten much better, I gotta say. So it comes from a place of frustration, and again, I do want to avoid self-pity, but I'll probably get called out on that. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, boy. Stop your whining. Speaking of wine,
is that what Rose put in the glass in front of you?
No. She just gave me some delicious water. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. It was. It definitely came from it was a bit of resignation, like kind of accepting it, that, okay, this is where I'm at. Maybe I felt like I'd hit the wall, or a glass ceiling. And again, in this case, the ceiling was obviously only in my mind, you know what I mean? So, and then just kind of not wanting to be around. It's like, okay, fuck it. If that's it, that's what it is. I'm out. Then I'm out. Not that I would take my own life, which is maybe what the song could also imply in a way. But just kind of just over it, you know what I mean? Like that feeling. Okay. But that was then, and I'm not in that place now. I'm happy to report. Yeah.
That's good. I love that song though. Disappear is such a great song.
Yeah.
It's a standard in my set. I love to play it. I still love to play it. And I played it as a duo. I played it with a band in Sweden when we toured. I played it with this other band in Italy. They're always like, yeah, we got to do that song. That's the song we're gonna do. And one of my friends, Edward Abbiati, who I recorded a record with some years ago. He really digs that song. He's really, he's like, we got to play that song. No, it's a fun one, and I love to play it. And for me, when I'm playing it these days, it's more of a celebration, because musically, for me, it's a celebration, and melodically, and I love to sing it, and I love to I like the way it's sort of it's kind of Well, it's dynamic, but it's kind of a straight line. You know what I mean? It kind of starts here and it ends here. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
You know, with a little blip of a guitar solo, but it drives right from the beginning, and that's what I really like about it. You know, and that's also how I play it. You know, when I just am solo with an acoustic guitar. You know, I like just you just lay into it, find that tempo, keep that tempo, and then just keep it going all the way to the end. You know. It's fun. I enjoy it too. Yeah.
It's a great one. So that makes me think. So you're a guitar player as well as a keyboard player. Do you have a preference? And which do you write songs on both? I imagine that you do. Some on guitar and some on keyboards.
As a matter of fact, well, first to the songwriting thing, I've written almost all my songs, like 99% on the guitar.
Oh.
And the reason is that I feel like I'm too familiar with the piano and with the guitar. The piano is very linear, whereas the guitar is a little more circular, you know, in terms of where you find the notes. And what I realized right away is that the guitar will surprise me, you know. I get more surprises out of the guitar than I do on the piano.
Huh.
You know, maybe because I need to challenge myself more in the linear realm to find the surprises there. But for instance, with the guitar, you can put a cable on it that takes you already somewhere else. You can change the tuning of the strings, which I do a lot, and suddenly you have things are coming out that you didn't expect. And these are the surprises that I really enjoy, you know, because I don't want to just play like, you know, cowboy music, you know. I don't want to play. I want to find the stuff, you know, that excites me. You know, it's like, oh wow, you know, maybe I haven't heard this chord combination before, but maybe I have because honestly, you know, everything's been done before, or maybe not. But I like hearing these little, how these chords go together or how these notes go together to create these chords. This is more difficult for me to discover on the piano. It's easier to discover on the guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
The way you talk about it, it just sounds so natural. And as a fan, as a listener,
Yeah.
You know, what more is there to discover? But the way you talk about it makes absolute sense, and you're constantly pushing this kind of musical boundary, not only with your lyrics, but obviously with the melody that you're looking for, that you're searching for. I find it fascinating that you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to add one more challenge, and I'm going to do it on a guitar versus the piano, which would be much more comfortable and probably to a certain degree, I know it sounds awful, a little more complacent because that's a nice, comfortable place.
You know, that might be part.
Allows you to explore.
That might be part of it too, yeah.
Huh.
One of my favorite songs that I play live on piano, which sounds completely appropriate on piano, is the song off of Bumbling Home from the Start, California Into the Ocean. Oh yeah, you got to hear that. And so that's like my default piano song, which I wrote on guitar, but now I love to play it on piano. And actually, did I even? Yeah, I did in the studio. I played first on guitar, and then I added the piano, and or vice versa. I can't remember. But anyway, but I wrote that song on guitar, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how it sounds on the piano, you know. And that's also a fun thing to do.
Nice.
You know?
So you transposed it from guitar to piano.
Love it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I got a few songs that I've done with done like that. I'd like to get more solo piano songs into my live repertoire, but it hasn't happened yet. You know, my wife, Rose, she's always telling me, you need to do, you know, a complete piano set, and she's right, because I think people would dig that. So
yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe that'll be the second Skype concert after the accordion concert.
Exactly.
So, Chris, I wanted to bring up your last studio releases, which I consider companion pieces. The 2009's Love's Been Discontinued and Love's Been Rediscontinued that you put out in 2013. Both have similar artwork that's done by Filippo Costanza. Is that his name?
Right.
So he played bass on those records. For Love's Been Rediscontinued, you returned to the studio and finished off tracks that you had from the previous album. I'm so glad you did that because I can't imagine a world without the stage, which I think you're playing Wurlitzer on again. I just love that song.
Took to the stage to act my age. I stood there naked, unashamed. Started to sing and lost my sight. Stayed that way for the rest of the night. And I'm trying hard to understand the weight of the gift, the lay of the land. Sometimes this kills me. When life was a drag, I packed my bags, took to the road to soothe my soul. Then shots rang out, the lights came on, the air stood still and it all got real. And I'm trying hard to understand the weight of the gift, the lay of the land. Sometimes this kills me. Took to the stage to act my age. I stood there naked, unashamed. I started to scream and lost my sight. Stayed that way for the rest of the night. And I'm trying hard to understand the weight of the gift, the lay of the land. Sometimes this kills me. Yeah, sometimes this kills me.
What made you go back and revisit those songs that were left off the 2009 release?
Well, I just realized I didn't answer part of your previous question about which do I prefer, or maybe I answered, but I don't think I did. It's hard to say. I really like to play both keyboards and guitar, but they're different animals, and I love to be a sideman, and therefore that's why I love the keyboard so much, because that lets me do that with the Dream Syndicate, with Steve Wynn, with whoever. So therefore, I adore playing the keyboards, but with my live stuff, it's got to be guitar, my solo stuff.
Wow.
Right. So back to your more recent question. So when I went in to do Love's Been Discontinued, I'd been playing for a long time with this trio, Filippo Costanza and Vilan Roquel, the drummer. And we built up, I'd written quite some songs, and we'd been playing them together, and everything was sounding really good. We were a great live trio, and it was time to go in and record. And I wanted to record as many songs as possible. So we started, I think, with about 23 basic tracks.
Wow.
Yeah. And for one session, it's unusual, and it was kind of a luxury because I've never gone in a studio with 23 mostly completed songs. And, some didn't have lyrics, but most of them, had the chords and the arrangements already. Right. So I just wanted to record as much as possible. And so we had all these basic tracks, and then it was pretty clear, the cream started to rise to the top. And then I focused on this. First, I focused on the songs that ended up on Love's Been Discontinued. So a few years later, it was clear. I'm like, well, I got all these basic tracks. I got to do something with them, So went back in there with my friend Rainer Loh, who owns and runs the studio and is the engineer, and started singing, writing more words to finish these songs, and adding some overdubs here and there. So that's how that ended up getting completed. And one thing, I'm glad you like the stage. That's also one of my standard solo songs these days, which I really love to play solo. It works. And it's another one. It's kind of got that Disappear vibe where it just kind of starts here, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's a fun one to play for me. And I think the audience, if they're not familiar with that song, I think they don't really get it when I start it. They're like, because it's all downstrokes, it's all do 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 the whole time, almost like krautrock, like or punk rock. It's like do do do, and I'm playing it pretty fast, and it can be tiring. I mean, I'm 58 years old after all, it's a little bit exhausting.
Yeah, I feel you.
But usually, by the time I'm into it, I think the people like it. But the thing is, I'll always play it because I have so much fun playing it. Right. So I sang all these songs when I went back in there, and I threw in some overdubs here and there. But what I love, there are, I think, at least 2 tracks that are the original basic track with no overdubs. So you just have 3 people playing, and the only overdub is my vocal.
Oh.
So one of them is It's All the Same.
Oh, okay.
So check that song out, because that is live trio, and I think we played pretty damn good, And the guitar solo is live too, which is I'm pretty proud of that one, I gotta say.
find them, they're laying in the street. Minutes passed like hours, I wanted just to hold you. Now I'm in this white room, waking up from a coma. The curtains pulled back, but no one knows my name. Nothing here is changing. In fact, it's all the same. Just remember this, God is only good, damn him if you can, but I do not think you should. There's someone taking notes, and it's all carved down in wood. Nothing here is changing, in fact it's all the same.
So I think that was one of them, and I'd have to listen to the record to tell you what another one is. But for sure that one, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do. This song is complete, you know. Doesn't need keyboards, doesn't need this, doesn't need that, and that's a fun one. It's, you know, it's like kind of straight up blues. It's got this, you know, which really isn't my thing, but somehow that one came together.
Nice. Those are great records.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just to switch things up a bit.
Yeah.
The I think really the last time that we've heard you on a record was Dream Syndicate's latest release, These Times. So in fact, you have co-writing credits on the lead-off song, The Way In.
Working hard against the underwriter. Got a dog in the fight, but I'm a lover, not a fighter. And we can't begin till we find a way in. Trying to reconcile the past with the present. Which one fits and which one doesn't. And we shed our skin just to find the way in.
And The Whole World's Watching, which apparently the entire band wrote. And you joined them on some shows on the road. How was it getting back together with, Steve Wynn, someone you've worked with and is your friend, getting back together with the band and getting back into the studio?
It's fantastic. I mean, I love the studio anyway. And with those guys, it's just it's a blast because, they're really good friends by now, and they're amazing musicians. I mean, it's heaven. I just love it, and super creative, and in that situation, there might be a little more, I don't know, to say it in an extreme way, headbutting. There are more disagreements. There's more discussion, and but in the end, we work it out, because there's so much love in that band. So much love and respect. So even if things get heated, it's nothing that is going to threaten the foundation of our relationship. And yeah, I dig it. It's fantastic, and that I get to tour with them. Unfortunately, not in the U.S. because it's, it doesn't really make sense financially to fly me there for those few shows. But when they come over here, obviously I'm on the road with them, and that's coming right up in a few weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
That brings me to a question I should have asked earlier, Chris, and that's, how did you end up in Germany? So you're a Tucson boy, right? I mean, you moved from Tucson to Los Angeles, and obviously now you're in Germany. Was it a girl? Was it Rose? What was it?
It would have been Rose, who's no longer standing there, but was standing there.
You're a magician too, as well. So it was a girl.
Yeah, of course. We met in 94, and we're still together. Imagine that.
Wow.
3 years later, 3 years later, we got married. That's right. She was in Long Beach, California. She came over there. And about 2 years after that, after we got married in 99, we had a son. And he's now 19. Oh, excuse me, someone's ringing the doorbell. I'll be right back.
Okay. I bet it's Steve Wynn. I think Steve Wynn is showing up saying, I heard you mention my name, so
I'm here to clear the air.
Yes, exactly. Maybe it's the Tupperware lady that showed up. Is that still a thing? Did you ever have that growing up?
No. Avon calling?
Yeah, kind of like that. We'd have like a local Tupperware person.
Encyclopedias.
Oh, encyclopedias. And Chris said vacuums she used to see, like a vacuum cleaner salesperson. So. The wine.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Wow, cheers. Salud. So, is that... See, Jeff, we thought Avon Lady, Tupperware, Encyclopedia. It was wine.
It was wine.
At the door.
Right.
I know, it's crazy. It's like, wow. Normally they bring it in a box. He actually brought me a glass. He's like, here's your wine.
Different.
No, actually, because I told a friend, I said, well, I'm gonna be doing this interview, and I know at one point I'm gonna want a glass of wine. So please come over and ring the bell that I can. Because that did not happen. No. It was actually a. Do you guys have DHL? Yeah, you got DHL. It was a DHL guy. Yeah.
I thought it was one of those situations where it's like you're on your first date, and then you've got a little cell phone, and you're like, okay, for your wing person, the date's not going well, so can you show?
Call me in an hour.
Exactly.
I got it.
Exactly. Whoops, gotta go. Emergency. Oh, got an emergency, guys.
Okay, so we were
I was
at the Rose chapter. Yeah. 94, 97, 99, your son?
Yep. And then Rose and I were talking about that we wanted to get Dylan into the school over in Germany. So that was kind of clear that at one point we'd be moving to Germany. So meanwhile, we bought and renovated a house in Long Beach, an old craftsman house. And it was beautiful. My God, we put our heart, blood, and soul, sweat, and tears and all of that into renovating this house. And we bought it for a song pretty much. Well, not literally, because that would have meant that I wrote a song that earned money to buy the house.
Oh.
But you know what I mean.
Yes.
So we got a really good deal, and then we happened to buy this house in an area that was shortly thereafter declared an historical area in Long Beach.
Nice.
So now suddenly it's the place, like, people are buying houses, like, oh my God, we want to live there, you know. So a few years later, the market had gone like, it was, you know, coincidence, of course, you know, with the how realty markets are just crazy, right? So suddenly our house is worth like almost 3 times what we paid for it.
Nice.
So we thought, all right, we planned on maybe coming over here a couple of years later than we actually came. But we're looking now at the market, and we're like, well, we don't really know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Is this a bubble? How long is it going to last? If in 2 more years, you know, this is the bubbles burst, then we're kind of screwed, you know, because that would really mess with our plans. And it was a difficult decision on so many levels. I mean, Dylan, our son, was born in that house. So by choice, Rose says, I'm not going to have my baby in a hospital here. She's like, fuck these hospitals. And she's like, nope, I'm gonna. And I'm like, okay, you know, I mean, what do I know? It's like, you know, I got out my catcher's mitt and okay, here we go.
Wow.
You know, and yeah, so it was difficult to leave that house or to sell that house, but in the end, what's clear is it was certainly the best decision for our son, you know. So that's good. You know, I'm still, you know, there's still some challenges for me here and there in terms of getting work and earning the amount of money that I kind of need to contribute to the household. But it's gotten better, you know, since I started working at this cocktail bar in Karlsruhe, working in the background as not as a bartender. I couldn't mix a drink to save my life, literally.
Can you drink them, though? That's the question.
Was that a rhetorical question?
QC department. You have to quality check all this, right?
Yeah.
Chris posted a picture on his Facebook recently of 3 cocktails. It says, well, you know, like being the official taste tester, you know.
Yeah.
So it can't be too bad.
Well, I mean, I'm working back there in the storage area where we make the juices, where they keep all the beer. And so I'm making the juices, making the syrups, and doing whatever else needs to be done. So I'm busy. And then suddenly one of the young bartenders walks up with a tray with these 3 drinks. He's like, here you go.
Nice. Nice.
That was pretty funny. But that was like at 2 p.m. already. I'm like, oh, this is going to... I gotta not just drink all three of these. I only have a little bit of each one. All delicious. Believe me, I was ready to. Man, that one was especially good. Yeah.
Wow.
The pisco looked really good.
Exactly, the lavender infused pisco. Yeah.
That looked good.
I only get donuts where I work. I need to reconsider my job career here. So.
Wait, what do you mean?
I get donuts. I get donuts at my work.
Dude, sometimes I'd kill for a donut, a good donut, let me tell you.
I'll trade you donuts for the pisco, the lavender pisco. So.
Radio.
Wait, aren't the Germans like the Spaniards and the Italians? There's almost like a tea time. There's an afternoon snack time. There, you had your.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. Their pastries are amazing, but you can't get a good donut here. I'm not even kidding.
See, that's what we got to send Chris by DHL.
Yeah.
Donut.
Send me some Krispy Kremes.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I do. Okay, Chris, you've been super generous with your time and letting us talk to you for so long. But before we let you go, we would be remiss not to ask you, what's coming up next for you, and where can we hear you next?
Right. So last Friday, I got to play a really cool solo show, which I haven't done in a while. That was in Weiden, Germany. And so that's obviously the past. But man, I really enjoyed it, and it was kind of a little bit life affirming for me, because honestly, on my way out there, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, when was the last time I played my songs? And I'm like, I ran through my set a little bit when I was still at home before I took that 5-hour train ride out there.
Wow.
Like, okay, I think I got this. And sure enough, it went really well, and I was very pleased, So I was almost, patting myself on the back.
Nice.
And, right. But now we are heading towards the end of September. On the 10th of October, I fly to Oslo, Norway, where I'll meet Steve Wynn and Dennis Duck. And then the other boys, Mark Walton and Jason Victor, will show up a couple days later, or a day later. And hopefully we'll get to rehearse. And then our first show will be at the Rockefeller in Oslo, Norway. And we did this on the last European tour, and it was packed. I don't know how many people. I think it's about 1,500, maybe 2,000.
Wow!
And for that to be the first show of the European tours, it's a little bit daunting, because it's like, it's like one of the biggest shows, and okay, pressure. What is pressure? I don't know. They don't have expectations that are different from any other fans, but we put it upon ourselves to, you want to play the best possible show, But what determines that? What defines that? That's something you only kind of discover after you've played, let's say, 5 or 10 or 20 shows in a row. You can only do it by comparing to the other shows. Well, why was this good? Why was this better? And generally on a tour, the band sort of hits their stride about a week in, But it's okay. I mean, that first show is going to be awesome anyway. We're still going to kick ass.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm sure. I'm certain of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. And then I don't remember exactly the dates, but I know we play in Sweden, probably, I believe, Stockholm. Then we're in Denmark, and then we come down through Germany. Again, I don't know the order of the countries, but we'll definitely be in Belgium, Holland. I believe we have a show in Switzerland, in Zurich. I hope so. Paris, France. And then we go down to Spain for 2 shows. and then we end up in Athens, Greece for the last show, and that's going to be a blowout. That's if you guys are going to come to any show, come to Athens, okay? It's going to be insane because I mean, first of all, Athens.
Yeah, right.
It's just amazing, and the people that there's so much love for this band in Athens. I can't even tell you. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, any recordings, Chris, besides Dream Syndicate, or do you expect to release any new material of your own songs?
Well, I guess I'll start by saying yes. I did some home recordings. I did this one little demo that I'm really happy with. I should send it to you at one point. It's pretty cool. It's very raw and simple. But then when I recently worked at that record shop up in Copenhagen, I met these two guys, and the one guy's name is Peter, and the other guy's name is Peter. So Peter, and they're like, yeah, we got it. Really sweet guys. Also, maybe a little younger than me, and kind of cool, kind of punk rock looking guys. And like, yeah, we got a studio. We got to get you over there, man. You got to record a song. I'm like. At first, I was like, I don't know, really? Do I really got to do this? I'm like, yeah, come on, man. I'm like, okay. So I went over there, and he's like, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I had this new song idea, like just chords and maybe a melody. So I'm like, all right, let's start here. So they made me an electronic drum beat, and I just started layering like I do in the studio, like I do at home. And they sent me the mix. I haven't sang anything yet, but I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be a cool fucking song.
Nice.
I'm really excited to work on it. So I don't know. I think things are kind of bubbling up, bubbling around. I'm not like being super bisagman. How do you say that? I'm not being consequent. Is that the word? Whatever. I'm not being really like focused on making songs and making a record, but I think it's kind of coming together in this weird haphazard way that I tend to do things.
Nice.
We'll take it.
Yes.
We'll take it.
Absolutely.
You guys are awesome.
I like hearing this stuff.
Yeah. And I'll send you some, I'm going to send you guys something. I'll put in our little messenger an MP3. You guys can listen to it. It'll be special, not for sharing. Okay. But you guys are so awesome, and I feel like I'd do almost anything for you guys.
You're awesome.
You shared your love of disco with us, so
there you go.
There's a new friendship. So, Chris, I have to ask. So, do I have to travel all the way to Germany to get? Damn! I'd have to go all the way to Germany, knock on your door, and bring a glass of wine and say, "Here."
Lord have mercy. Is that an original?
Yes, sir.
Jesus.
Yeah, believe it.
I'm impressed.
Believe it.
Oh my God. Okay. Jeez. Yeah. All right. Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm listening.
You might know this already, but we needed artwork for that cover, right?
Okay.
Back when we made the record. And then Jack Watterson came to us one day and he said, "Hey guys, look what I found in the dumpster." I kid you not. And he pulled that out. It was like a colored chart for Don't Ask Me. He's like, "Hey guys, look what I found in the trash. I think I found our record cover."
Wow.
Boom. There you go.
Trash digging paying off. Yes.
Oh my God, dumpster diving.
Yes.
Well, like I say,
I'm just trying to picture what it is.
I know. Yeah. I think it was like maybe a color scale where they run something through to test, and I have no idea, but that's how that came about.
Very cool. The origin of the cover. Yes.
That's amazing that you have that. And actually, no, I'll come to you and sign it. I will.
We're looking for
one of these days we'll get you and your family to cross over and I'll give Rose. I'll give Rose some wine. Jeff and I will give Rose wine, and
Oh, she would love that. But hopefully, maybe one of these. Hopefully, Dream Syndicate will keep building it up, and then it'll make sense to bring me over to play some shows.
Well,
you guys in Philly? I can't remember.
No, we're in Southern California.
Where are you?
Southern California.
Oh my God! I know why I thought I had like Philadelphia in my freaking head.
That's okay. I lived in Philadelphia for 6 years that I'd like to forget. So.
Okay. So where in Southern California?
So Jeff's in Temecula.
Oh, okay.
Wine country, yes.
And I'm in the San Fernando Valley. I'm in Woodland Hills.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. Okay.
You can tell my Valley Girl accent straight away?
A little bit.
Just a smidge? Okay.
I mean, my daughter still lives in Highland Park. So it's not out of the question that I will be, if I'm going anywhere in the U.S., it's going to be L.A.
All right. Well,
all right. So we're going to hook
Jeff
up.
and I will welcome you with open arms.
Yes, we definitely would love to hook up if you make it to L.A.
Okay.
Welcome me with open arms and a trip to the best Mexican food restaurant near you.
Yes. Yes.
You go.
Need some Mexican food, y'all.
Yes, we got to do that.
That is a Tucsonian talking to you. Who knows what good Mexican food is? Come on now. Let's just be honest. Yeah.
All right. Good.
Before we let you go, Chris, is there anywhere, in case any of our listeners are interested, where they can find you on social media? Are you an Instagram person, a Twitter person, a Facebook person?
Yeah. My best recommendation would be on Facebook. That's where I'm probably most present. So I have my regular Chris Cacavas site, which I kind of use as it's private, but it's also public. And then if that makes sense, I use my private account as a public figure, so to say.
Got it. Okay.
But I'm not always posting. You follow me, so I post stuff that's a little left field sometimes. But I'm just trying to have fun and lighten the thing, and I don't want to talk about politics. That's for damn sure. And I don't have a cat, so. But we got that, and there's also the highly neglected Chris Cacavas music Facebook page.
Hey, there you go.
So you can go like that, but don't expect it much to happen there.
But you don't know. He's got a beat. Now we just need lyrics. You got a beat.
It's like you got to maybe think of it more like I'm a volcano watcher. So if you go to like any of my sites, you just got to be patient. Eventually something's going to happen. And when it blows up, it's going to blow up big.
There's going to be an eruption, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Jeff, I don't even know stop this.
I know.
And I don't want to. I would love to talk, just till the cows come home. But Chris Cacavas, thank you so very much. And I hope this isn't the last time that we see you on our show.
Yes.
Soraya and Jeffrey, this was really fun, and I knew it would be. So what the heck, let's just see where it goes.
Yes, let's do it again.
And please tell Rose, thank you for letting us borrow you for a couple of hours.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No problem. She already went to see a friend. She's like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Enough of this hero worship. I'm out.
Yeah. But I actually had to freaking download the new version of Skype. Mine, I think I haven't used it for like 5 years probably.
Oh, my God.
So now I have the new version. I had to freaking reset my password. I had to look up what my username was. Oh my God. It's just really? I thought it wasn't going to be that difficult. But guess what? I'm savvy. I'm internet savvy. So
we made it happen.
It ain't a big deal.
We made it happen.
See, now you're set for Skype jam session with Chris Cacavas and friends.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. We're going to make it happen.
Chris, thank you so much. All right.
Yeah, pleasure.
Have a great one.
You guys are awesome. Have a great weekend, okay?
All right. You too. Thank you.
Yo, thanks a lot, guys. Yo, ciao.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ciao.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh my gosh, Soraya. Was that awesome?
You know, that was a great talk. And I think Jeff and I have to also add, in setting up this call with Chris Cacavas, what we contacted him before, and then we didn't hear from him, and then we reached out again, and then we were able to kind of get something set, and we had what should have been, or what we expected to be, you know, maybe a 1 minute interchange. Yes, okay, that date sounds fine. And this time we ended up having a half-hour chat about all things, including music, and it included, yes, disco music.
Yes.
And songs were favorite disco songs were shared, and videos from YouTube were shared.
Yes.
And it was a really fun chat. And Jeff and I said, well, if that chat's any indication, I think we're going to have a good conversation. And you all just heard it. I mean, first of all, Jeff, we can't deny he's a really prolific musician, and he's honest.
Yes.
I mean, he was very, very honest with us, you know, to the point of raw honesty.
Yes.
Which I'm very appreciative of, because you and I are really just two unknowns, you know, to him. But I thought it was very encouraging that he felt comfortable enough to kind of talk openly, like when he was talking about Disappear, you know.
Yeah. And it's a tough topic, and it's a great song, and I really appreciated the story behind that, and where he was at that time and where he is now. It's a totally different place. But yeah, so we first reached out to Chris when we were doing our holiday messages, and Chris participated in that. And ever since then, I'm like, besides I just love his songwriting and his performing both as a keyboardist, as a vocalist, as a songwriter, guitar player. It's all amazing. But interacting with him over the last couple months, man, he's just a great guy on top of being a great musician. So
really solid person. And I mean, we said it at the top of the show, and we'll repeat it now. I mean, if you dare go look at his Discogs credits, you just sit in a comfy chair, because you're going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
You know, him as a musician, him as part of a band. And I find it funny when he says, I just like being like off to the side.
A sideman. Right.
Part of the band, sideman. It's incredible to me, because him as a solo artist, as well as a member of a band, you know, he's really good, and he's still got so much to contribute. Those of you who have the new Dream Syndicate album, you know, the songs that he co-wrote, songs he plays on, I mean, insane. Green on Red stands alone.
Yeah.
His work with Junkyard Love, his solo work, you know, as just Chris Cacavas, and now him kind of looping around and doing work with Dream Syndicate. But also, can we just make one little addendum? And that's, I like hearing these stories about these bands, or the members of these bands, just really appreciating other people, appreciating each other as a friend, and being supportive. Because, you know, I think we've heard this story before about Steve Wynn, about just, he's a supportive person and encouraging. And I like Chris's stories about his friendship with Steve Wynn, which, you know, translates into, you know, the studio, but also performing together. And we'll post a link to this performance of That's What You're Here For.
So good.
That's where you see that synergy between Steve and Chris, and a real appreciation for each other as people. So,
yes.
But
all right.
I don't know how to stop this. Please, gente, arduier.
Groove on, Paisley people.
Something spreading ear to ear. It's not a smile, it's the greatest fear. All said and done, make sure it is. But there's a lot that I won't miss, 'cause the sky's not falling. It's California, into the ocean, into the ocean. The sky's not falling. It's California, into the ocean, into the ocean. Jumped the bit, broke the bridle. I had to tell you about something tidal. Your hands are shaking, and so's your head. Your lips are trembling, your eyes are red, but the sky's not falling. It's California, into the ocean, into the ocean. The sky's not falling. It's California, into the ocean, into the ocean. Is it a rumor or just a wish that all is lost because of this? Now hold your breath and close your eyes. It took me by surprise. I didn't realize that the sky's not falling. It's California, into the ocean, into the ocean. The sky's not falling. It's California, into the ocean.